Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON Seshadripuram daily Bhagavatam online class. And I've been asked to detail on Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 10th chapter, 15 to 20th sloka. So it's big, bunch of slokas. We will get into the sloka and then we will discuss in detail. So I'm repeating Srimad Bhagavatam 4.10.15 to 20. Evam nyatva kritam karma purvair api mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam purvahi purvataram kritam. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api yatra mohitaha. Sorry, 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So, give me a minute. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So, Dhruva Maharaj fight with the Yakshas. That is a chapter. Now I am in the right chapter. Sorry, we took from Bhagavad Gita. So from Srimad Bhagavatam, 15th verse onwards from 10th chapter, 4th canto. Nadatsu yatu daneshu jaya kashiv ato mridhe udaitistat ratastasya niharad iva bhaskaraha. 16th verse. Dhanurvishpurjayam divyam divishatam shedam udvahan astrogam vyadamadbaner gananikam ivanilaha. 17th verse. Tasyate chapi nirmukta bitva varmani rakshasam kaya avivishu stigma girin asanyayo yata. 18 and 19. Balaihi sanchidyamananam sirobhischaru kundalahi urubir hema talabir dorobir valya valgubihi. Ara ke yuramuk mukuther usnaisascha mahadanai astrasta ranabhuvo rejor viramanoharaha. 20th verse. Atavasista itare ranajira raksho gana kshatriyavarya sayakihi prayo vivirna avayava viduruvu mrigendra Mrigendra Vikridita Yutapaiva. So many verses. Directly we'll discuss translation and purport. So let me take obeisances from all our acharyas and Krishna. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chashkurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Tadanti Swapadantiham Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastasya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So Hare Krishna. Once again I welcome all the participants for today's Bhagavatam class, ISKCON Seshadripuram, and we have been discussing Dhruva Maharaj fight with Yakshas, particularly 15 to 20th slokas today. So initially we come across around 14 slokas. So a brief introduction about those 14 slokas, then we will get into 15 to 20. So the Dhruva Maharaj fight with the Yakshas starts with Dhruva Maharaj detail. So he got married, the Prajapati Sishumara, daughter of Prajapati Sishumara, and then her name is Brahmi. And also he has got two sons. About his Kshatriya quality or these things we are going to discuss, and also another wife, and also when they were going near Himalaya mountain or something, at that time they found there are many yakshas. They were also doing hunting. That time by mistake they killed his younger brother Uttama. And he could not tolerate, after hearing this, how come it is possible. And also little introduction about his mother Surichi. Surichi also in the path of Uttama and searching, and she also died. And where these yakshas live, the named here it is Alakapuri. And what is the job of yakshas? They all are some kind of celestial figure, those who are assisting Kuvera here. So they assist demigod, and particularly Kuvera, who is the treasurer of all the demigods, and who is a caretaker of all the wealth of Devaloka or any demigod caretakers like that. And went out for victory over the city of Yaksha. So after missing his younger brother, then immediately he started angry, and then he took the nature of mode of passion, and it is happening in which yuga? It is happening in a Satya Yuga. So there it is, this entire this narration is happening, and he took his bow and arrow, and not only he is a great chariot, and also he is a great archer who is like Arjuna from our context. And then in a valley, he saw the city full of ghostly persons, and they are the follower of Lord Shiva, and some particular kind of, we say, today's context, all are tribe, some kind of that atmosphere filled with alakapuri, and could not Guru Maharaj could not digest or tolerate dismissal of his younger brother who is not yet married. So in that mood, immediately he took his panchal and blew, and then he tightened his bow and arrows, and then he got ready his chariot to go and attack this kind of incidents. Even these Yakshas also nice people, and they assist to all other demigods. So it had happened by mistake. See, hunting is a process. See, when we get into some kind of mode of passion, some kind of loss will be there in the both the side. Kshatriyas knows that. See, when you get into the battlefield, or when you get into this hunting business, then definitely there will be a untowards from both the side. So this is unexpected, right? From both the side. So in that way, he is a great bowman, and then he started giving the signal openly. That is a dharma, Kshatriya dharma. Even in the war field, so now they are repenting. This America is announcing now, towards compassion towards Russia, and how many soldiers being killed. Why can't a little earlier only, right? When after the entire war happened, so many innocent and so many these things. These are the very practical knowledge one should get it from the scripture. So that is what we are understanding here. And then the Yakshas soldier were 130,000. All the Yaksha soldiers, huge, what to say, battle army, different, wings. 130,000 strong people are standing in front of them with so many weapons like spears, spikes, and then what is it, lances, tridents, swords, right, and iron bludgeons. So all these things we have come across, and then this is the quality of the true Kshatriya. Here, just as mountain is covered by incessant rainfall, so this entire Yakshas surrounded, and then in the mood of attacking or protecting from uh, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj is a great warrior, and this is the scene up to 13th sloka, and in the 14th sloka, the Siddhas, the other lokas, saintly people, they all are looking in a so, what I can say, compassionate mode. They know Guru Maharaj is a great warrior. And the Yakshas also the assistant of demigod, associated activities. But why this? And also they cried that Dhruva Maharaj was just like the sun, and that now he had set within the ocean of Yakshas. So they know that, so he is a great warrior, but surrounded with ocean of Yakshas. So now this is the mood of Siddhas or the entire assembly, the demigod assembly or whatever we can understand in the Satyuga. This is the thing is happening. And what is the general take-home message now before getting into the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj? Now we have to understand what is the take-home message from this entire entire chapter. See here, and here there are many take-home messages from these chapters, but here particularly we are going to deal it about, yes, obviously from Dhruva Maharaj to past times, one should learn that the determination, how Dhruva Maharaj is so determined. But here, when compared to, there are so many take-home messages from this, and in this episode, or in this particular discussion of 5 or 6 slokas, we have to be very conscious on understanding how Dhruva Maharaj is also compassionate towards the situation. Otherwise, there is no progress in the spiritual life. That is also important thing. One is determination. There are so many take homes, from Dhruva Maharaj past life. But our today's discussion is three qualities one should learn from this incident, or from Dhruva Maharaj. One is forgiveness, and another one is humility. The third one is self-control. I'm repeating: forgiveness, humility, and self-control. This, the details of these three words. Maybe some places, it may coincidence. Some places it is cumulative. All these things we will discuss. And let us think from Prabhupada, perspective. That is what today we are going to discuss. And before going to discuss what exactly these, 15 to 20th sloka deals with. Initially, it looks like, Yakshas being, victorious initially. But all of a sudden, the sun suddenly appears from within the foggy mist, right? So, Guru, all of a sudden, with these Yakshas being shown as the cloud, and here Dhruva is being identified like a sun. But initially, it looks like he is going to lose like that. The fog cannot hide sun, never. And also, he is a pure devotee. That spiritual, perspective we will discuss later. And then his bow and arrows, just like that, missiles. Nowadays we are seeing, Russia, Ukraine, how they are passing missiles and the sounds, he's seeing sounds whenever we open, news channel or something. We can hear all this warfield, how danger and how cruel it is. But here it is Dhruva Maharaj bow and arrow giving such a sound, like how the Kali Yuga, warfield, we cannot imagine, how bad it is. And then the sharp arrows released from the bows of Dhruva Maharaj pierce the shields and bodies of the enemy. The powerful country always, the weapons attack will be, still we remember, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, how the Japan being affected very badly because of, this war. And our acharyas, even in future episodes, we are going to understand from his grandfather, Manu. And he says, no, don't get into this business, stop it. He advises, because by mistake it is being committed by one yaksha. Why you have to destroy this entire? There are some bad leaders, so-called leaders, because of their personal interest. They simulate, the general public, and then it may lead to a big, war field, etc. like that. So that one should understand, especially for it's a big lesson for devotees, the progressing devotees like me and all of us. And then further, it is decorated very beautifully with earrings. All these yakshas, being having very opulent appearance, and with the arrows, these arrows are piercing, their heads, and it looks very beautiful, in the sense how nicely these yakshas being, dressed, and all their heads being, cut off, and all these ornaments lying, and also their earrings and etc. being mentioned here. This is, very pathetic, right? The war field, very next day, entire world will look at, the small children died, how beautiful, these girls are died, how, opulent, buildings being collapsed. We discuss, no? So that is the mood here. The remaining yakshas, just as elephants flee when defeated by a lion. Whenever there is a fight between lion and elephant, the elephant will initially, try to protect here and there, hissing, giving some noise and shaking his body. When it understands, the lion is so powerful, then it will take back, and then step back and run away from that particular field. So in the 20th sloka, this is also being, narrated here. The position of yakshas like that. Here, what is the position of, Dhruva Maharaj? He is a highly elevated devotee, and he returned, and also he is a Kshatriya, and he ruled, and also Lord's blessing is there, and also he is a realized soul, no doubt about it. And he's initially he would have started with material opulence. Even he wants a bigger kingdom than Brahma, etc. But once Lord appeared, we also know we have so many anarthas in the beginning. Not only anarthas, so much of business dealings kind of, I get this name, fame, etc. But once we progress, we will understand the absolute truth. We are only an instrument in the hands of the Lord. So now the take-home message from this, this particular episode is, as I explained, as I mentioned earlier, forgiveness and self-control, and then humility. So how to understand these three terms? Let us, seek the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and what Srila Prabhupada, brings out from these three terms. Especially, first we will look into self-control. So without self-control, there is no progress in the spiritual discipline. So the self-control is identified as spiritual discipline from Prabhupada. And that is how we reach to Krishna consciousness. So everybody knows in this, planet, Krishna, but are we a devotee is the big question mark. So let us learn these three terms. Once again, I am repeating the self-control, then forgiveness, self-control, forgiveness, and then humility. So these three are very important. These are the take-home message from the from these verses, as well as Prabhupada, by life example also. So the self-control. Now, first point is self-control. Out of 3 points, first we will discuss self-control. A devotee can control their desires, mind, and senses, ultimately purifying their heart. So we need to regulate our mind. Otherwise, there is no question of self-control. It is a very basis. Prabhupada says in Bhakti Yoga, without self-control, there is no Bhakti Yoga. So, and in the right perception. Even in Prabhupada quotes example from Bhagavad Gita 6.5. Here it is mentioned, according to him, the senses are the main obstacle in the path of devotion. Right? Mind intelligence and false ego. The senses plays a very vital role because the senses, triggers your, thought process. So thought process and our destiny both are, interrelated. So the beginning point is thoughts and the ending point is destination. So between our birth and death, the point between B and D, what we are going to do is, especially self-control helps a lot to get into Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise, Prabhupada often quoted the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to control the mind according to 6.5. Otherwise, your mind will be taken away by the Maya. Be careful. But we all are so comfortable in Maya, saying that, what to, this, I'm so comfortable with, bodily conscious. Whatever my senses demands, let me feed. Then this self-control is the basis of spiritual life. That is what Prabhupada bringing out first point. The second point, controlling the senses. So Prabhupada brings out this controlling of senses. That whatever jnanendriya and karmendriyas are there, it demands whatever you look at. Your eyes demands, so many things. Your tongue demands so many things. Our ears demands, so many materialistic things. So convert that taste into, or that sensory organs demand into devotional service. So that is the beauty of, this Bhakti Yoga. So otherwise, we will be taken away by Maya all the time. And then prasadam is there. And one must not allow the senses to become uncontrolled. So there is a term in our parampara, it is called Goswami. What is the real meaning of Goswami? The one who is a master of senses. But actually, practically thinking, we are the Godasas. We are the slaves of our senses. That is a point here. Prabhupada brings out when we discuss about self-control, controlling the senses. The third one is the role of the mind in self-control. What is the role of the mind in the self-control? Because always when we engage into mantra meditation, chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we engage, our mind more than 3 senses, more than 2 senses. Even when we look into medical or the materialistic perception, when one engages more than 2 senses, automatically that person focus will be into the process. So what is this? When we chant, when we are engaging our tongue into pronouncing this mantra, Maha Mantra, and our ears are engaged into hearing of this. So through this, the role of the mind, the mind and self-control are always, disturbing each other. So how to regulate it? That is what this is the process Prabhupada gives, chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and also Bhagavad Gita 6.6 says, for one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy. This is the point here Prabhupada brings out the role of the mind in self-control. Because many a times we know, but this mind only wins always. We never get into that mood, I am the body, I am the body, I am the body. So this is all about the role of the mind in self-control. Now, fourth one is control of the tongue. Right? Control of the tongue here, it is stressed upon, two things. The tongue being used for speaking, the tongue being used for tasting, food. So what for we have to use our tongue? Chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. How to regulate our tongue or taste buds? Through consuming prasadam or Krishna prasad. So these two things, Prabhupada emphasized in many places, but we fail to arrive to that, conscious so control of the tongues. And then we know what is chanting and we know what is eating prasadam, offering, what to say, offer to the Lord and then eat, that is for prasadam. Instead of prajalpa, instead of speaking, paradosha kirtanam, gossips, that, this, that devotee is like that, this devotee is, fault finding nature and, speaking bad about, behind some particular devotees. When we get into administration, all these things we will, experience. Until we get into administration, we may feel that, hard, serve seva and, soft seva. Hard seva is Prabhupada made a platform for all of us. Now we are happily, sitting and discussing about Krishna Katha or Srimad Bhagavatam. But how much he struggled to establish this, nobody realizes. That is the seva. One should follow the footsteps of acharyas. Then automatically, one can please Lord. Lord could be pleased only through dasanu, dasanu, dasa. Right? There are, some another, soft seva. Soft seva means, somebody establishes everything. Now I am sitting so comfortably and then least bother about them. That is not the real gratitude. The real gratitude is there are so many hardships to bring the bhakti marga to this godless civilization. So Prabhupada's mission is to eradicate this godless civilization all over the world. So are we into the mission? Are we into the aligned mindset? So that is the big. So here the point is control of the tongue will bring out self-control. And then avoiding indulgence. Under self-control, next point is avoiding indulgence. So what is this indulgence? Always thinking about I am the body and leading a life with eating, sleeping, entertainment. Only this is the purpose of life. Always forgetting what we are. So that is not our ultimate objective of leading this life, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And the conscious is the whole purpose of life is to be free from the illusion of sense gratification and develop detachment and desire for spiritual bliss. When we will come to that stage, right? We are always indulging into Godasa activities. I am the body, I am the body, I am the body. I am the doer, I am the doer, I am the doer, I am the preparator, I am the preparator. All are illusion only. So we are only an instrument in the hands of the Lord. So this is called avoiding indulgence. Then self-control in relationships. Next point is under self-control. The self-control in relationships, Prabhupada, how He says, to us, see, this self-control extends to one's relationship with others. Right? See, that is what we do. No? We always, sadhu sangha, we glorify, sadhu sangha, lava matra sadhu sangha. So when we look into the relationship among devotee circle or even office or even within the family, it is explained that cultivating tolerance and patience. Do we have this tolerance, cultivating of tolerance and patience? Most of the time, we never listen to anybody. Most of the time, our mood is always, to convey what we are, not to listen, from what they are, from their perspective. We never, train our mind. Let me look into. So that is what here the scenario. When Yaksha's point of view, they were naturally the hunters. When they go for hunting, by mistake, Uttama being killed. Right? For that, this entire parampara of Yakshas being, in trouble, their wife and the family member, they're scared like anything by seeing, 130,000 soldiers of Yakshas standing. He is applying, Durva is applying each and every one's forehead being pierced with 3 arrows. So calculate 130,000 into 3. Those many arrows piercing into forehead of each and every Yakshas and then, killing of them. Then Kuvera is requesting and then, everybody is requesting to stop this act. So that is what the self-control. And finally, after his Manu's instructions, guidance, then he was under control. Do we have this self-control? That is what the take home here. And Prabhupada emphasized that self-control in relationship leads to peace. Peace. We say in our office also, why to, up beyond a point, everybody will say, why to lose my health, getting into this politics, office politics, or among the devotees, among any place. This term is very common, and we will get peace when we have a self-control. We will get peace first, and allows one to serve others selflessly. And also, our motive is patit. We have to reach the stage of patita pavana, paradukha dukhi, trinadapi sunichena. Right? We all know that, but we fail to follow it. That is what Guru Maharaj, pastimes reminds us determination. With lack of determination, again and again, Prabhupada and our Acharyas coming and reminding us, have a self-control, have a forgiveness, have a humility. So we are discussing about self-control. Then the next point, discipline in daily life. So the self-control brings discipline in daily life also, right? It means, Prabhupada says, establishing a discipline in daily routine. This Krishna consciousness is a way of life. It is not, festival take home or something. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So here we could, get into the understanding of this. And also the regulative principles. The discipline in daily life, Prabhupada brings out regulative principles. We all know what are regulative principles in our parampara: avoiding illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. So Prabhupada gives so easily. These are the minimum discipline one should maintain to come to the stage of human being, not a saintly person. And then the chanting, and then offering prayers, studying spiritual text, and engaging in devotional activities. So in our temple, there are many centers. They are engaged with daily book reading and daily japa session. So how many of us having time to get into all this? It's a big question mark even today. And regulative principles, this entire world population, if you take excluding India, only 3% is the vegetarian population. So it shows how fallen this this Kali Yuga is. So discipline in daily life will bring out through self-control. Otherwise, the daily discipline will become a question mark, and Bhakti Marga, that serving to Krishna, will become a question mark for us. And then the next point under self-control in the face of temptations. So Prabhupada coined, the term here, phase of temptations. What is this temptations here? Let us see. This temptation, Hare Krishna. I'll take a 1 minute short break here. Please bear with me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thanks for bearing 1 minute with me. Here there is some local arrangement, so I have to engage that. And here we are discussing about the phase of temptations. Prabhupada mentions, explain that devotee should not be discouraged by temptations of material world. So there are so many temptations are there. Try to go to foreign country for seeing the buildings and nightclubs, and there are so many so-called modern world, the so-called enjoyments are there. So these all are the temptations in the Kali Yuga. On the contrary, overcoming these temptations is part of the process of developing self-control. So we look at initially onion garlic, initially for some people non-veg, initially for some people all other materialistic contaminations. So it's all about going to movie and engaging always into this just mode of passion, something, etc. So initially it will be there, but these are the temptations. Prabhupada often emphasized that Krishna consciousness was a practical process. Once, if one get into this Krishna consciousness, naturally the taste will go on. Initially, here Dhuru Maharaj was so angry with these yakshas, and when he was associating with his grandfather, when he is associating with other devotees, then naturally he will come down from that mood. And he said that Prabhupada said, he said that detachment from material enjoyment is naturally achieved through attachment to Krishna. Attach here, detach there. So this is the way one can get into self-control. One can be away from the temptations. Otherwise, when we are not attaching to higher taste, definitely we could not engage always. That is the reason, Prabhupada gives the formula. Shall I give all 365 days, the engagement in temple? Just you understand where you are and take that much purification. But minimum purification is 16 rounds of chanting and eating, prasad. And also Guru Sadhu Shastra. Otherwise, no point in theoretically every day we are discussing all this. And then developing the inner strength. Next, self-control brings inner strength for somebody. We may not fall. Previously, we have seen the temptation. Okay, Krishna consciousness is the thing. I have arrived, not to fall. But the fall also certain, Prabhupada example only we can give. One devotee took sannyasa. Then he had an affair with one nurse. Again, Prabhupada told, I will only, arrange a marriage for you, but don't come in front of me. Why? Because who forced you to get into that ashrama? Right? In Varnashrama, no? So whichever you are comfortable, you be there only. Don't artificially imitate someone and then fall into this. Don't fall for the temptation, and without any inner strength, don't imitate anything. So here the inner strength is the sthira bhakti. Whatever it comes, the devotee will not follow. Whether dukkha, sukha, they look at equal perception. Shaking, that will not be there. When we look at this entire Bhagavad Gita, according to the second chapter, we can understand initially we have a problem, then we will get jnana, why I am in problem. Then once if I know theoretically, I will get into karma. Then in what way I should perform my karma, whether I should do karma, vikarma, or arama, that will be clearly explained with Buddhi Yoga. Once if I get into this Buddhi Yoga, then I can come to the stage of Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means the Samadhi stage. That means the fall or the rise, because I'm only instrument in the hands of the Lord and Acharyas. I'm only instrument. I'm not this body. I am the spirit soul. Why I should carry forward anything into my personal identity. It's very easy to discuss, but practically relishing and experiencing, we need determination first. Then we can think on all these things. We don't have any determination for finishing of 16 rounds daily, right? We one stage, we take. I'm open, we take diksha and we struggle, I finished, 16 rounds. It is not like that. Wow, I finished, 16 rounds. I didn't have, still that mood. I'm chanting, but still I don't have the mood. Wow, I have got, opportunity to chant, 16 rounds. I have the mood. Oh God, I finished, 16 rounds somehow, today. So that is the position in Kali Yuga, all of us, especially me, and developing the inner strength. And this Bhakti Yoga, one strengthen the soul desires to serve Krishna. So this, when we are fine tuning, this self-control, automatically our inner strength increases. We can serve nicely, to Krishna. This makes it easier to control the lower desires of the mind and senses. It never go to, lower taste like crow and swan. The crow will always go to garbage, and the pure devotees or a swan always get into the Krishna consciousness. If anything is not connected with Krishna consciousness, the devotees will have step back or a detachment from that atmosphere, right? Always the place where it reminds us who we are, let us all get into that place. And the last under self-control is pure devotion. With self-control, what we can attain? We can attain pure devotion. That is most important. What is meant by pure devotion? Because I'm fixed. How Prabhupada, Prabhupada is a perfect example for the pure devotion. We, at the age of 70, maintaining this body only a big challenge. He took this godless civilization, problem statement, and he used, so many, execution methodologies as per our parampara and as per, his guru Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, mercy. Prabhupada given, and with Prabhupada's mercy, we all got this pure, marching towards, pure devotion. The self-control. So in a summary, here, our Prabhupada perspective of self-control was an essential aspect of spiritual life. Without self-control, there is no aim to mark and cross it. There is no spiritual life. That is what, and there is no advancement in Krishna consciousness, leading to greater peace, happiness, spiritual progress. The self-control will lead us to greater peace, happiness, and spiritual progress. So strongly, let us catch hold of the self-control and the whatever the 10 points we discussed again under self-control. Next, we will move to the second one out of 3, forgiveness. So what is this forgiveness? How to, take it, this forgiveness? This is very, very important here. Prabhupada says, for the advancement. Without forgiveness, there is no advancement in spiritual life. And also one more point I would like to give. Here, this forgetfulness, we cannot discuss separately. It is a, evolution of love, humility, and compassion. Humility we will discuss later. We cannot discuss this forgiveness without love, humility, and compassion. A perfect example again, Prabhupada. And let us discuss in detail, or again, 10 points under forgiveness quickly. Here, the forgiveness deals here. The first one is forgiveness as a sign of spiritual maturity. Right? Without spiritual maturity, one cannot forgive anything. According to Bhagavad Gita 16.3, Krishna describes forgiveness as one of the divine qualities. Demonic quality, with demonic quality, I cannot forgive someone, but only with divine qualities I can. Prabhupada explained that devotee should be able to forgive others, especially when they are, feeling, sorry for that, reflects the higher state of consciousness. So that is one of the Vaishnava etiquette. If the person, feeling that sorry for, that mistake, then this is the mood of a true devotee. Immediately they will come down to the level of, taking care of them. That entire atmosphere will transform. By forgiving, a devotee can remain free from the burden of anger and negativity. Why we have to carry this anger and negativity always? Better, let us forget and forgive like that. Which blocks spiritual growth and also which blocks the spiritual growth. Right? So in the journey, everybody will have their own, experience. Why important, about the forgiveness. Both. Seeking for the pardon is the good quality, but giving, that forgiveness is the greatest quality. That is what. So in Tamil, we say that, in the local way of understanding, Mannipu Kekaro Manisha. That means the one who is, seeking for the forgiveness, he is a human being. And the one who forgives, he is a, what to say, the greatest of human being. So that is the point here. And so there is two advantages. One is the anger will go away and negativity will go away. Once if these two goes away, after forgiving someone, our spiritual growth is guaranteed. And the second point under forgiveness is forgiveness prevents the cycle of revenge. Otherwise, the revenge here, the entire Yaksha is being, killed. And the entire innocent, because of the leaders' pride, this entire innocent, citizens are dying here. So many soldiers. Yesterday also, America sent a, report. Where is the peace formula? Prabhupada gives very nicely, the peace formula is develop this or eradicate this godless civilization. Automatically, the peace formula will come. But where is every day, every minute we are, developing or innovating so much of weapons. That is not. So some full stop or there should not be no comma. Somewhere, the full stop should be there. Only the devotees can understand the wordings of Prabhupada. War is, not recommended, but war is inevitable. How to understand this? Right? One war, Prabhupada phrases like this. One war could not be a solution to another war, but war is inevitable. How to understand this? Very difficult. War is inevitable. Even Krishna came here, to protect the devotees because of, inevitability of war only. And then prevents the cycle of revenge. So now we can understand. If you forgive, you become free from the reaction of the offenses. You are free from the bondage of that wrong. So even we have to give, mercy. Otherwise, only taking. Some places, if somebody may be very offensive to us, we should have that, nature. And next, forgiveness is a part of humility. So that is the next point is humility. It is also a portion, as I told earlier. About that point, we will discuss, in detail. And Lord Chaitanya's example. Lord Chaitanya example is humble as a blade of grass and as tolerant as a tree. Pranadapi, Sunichena, Tarorupi, Saishuna. Do we have that, mood? I'm the humble, as a blade of a grass. I'm a tolerant as a tree. It's a big, not $1 million question. It is a $1 billion question. And then forgiveness promotes love and compassion. So that's what. So these all are in the humility, love, compassion. The forgiveness is attached to that. Otherwise, these three things, we cannot discuss separately. Love, compassion, and humility. When we discuss about humility, we will discuss about love and compassion. Now, these all are related terms one should understand here. Love and compassion. And this is very, very, very important, which I like, from Prabhupada. That is forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself. That means Prabhupada also thought that forgiveness includes forgiving oneself for past mistakes. We have committed so much of offenses in so many births, including, in this birth, before Krishna consciousness, after Krishna consciousness, how I came to Krishna consciousness. So many thought processes will be there in our mind. Many people struggle with guilt and self-blame. But Srila Prabhupada stressed the importance of self-compassion. Well, have a compassion on yourself. Forget about the past. It's not your mistake, right? Because you have been, taken away by the illusion. You have been taken away by this Traigunya, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna. Come above the flowery words of this conditioned state, Arjuna. And that is the mood of, Krishna with Arjuna. And so self-compassion. So by acknowledging one's mistakes, accepting them, and seeking forgiveness from the Lord. Prabhupada says, I am the most fallen soul. Prabhupada says, even he himself says, what to say, what I am speaking is perfect, but I may not be perfect. Ramanujacharya, Sri Sampradaya Ramanujacharya says, Sripad Ramanujacharya says, Karai Kandavar Yavarum Ille. Anmigathil Karai Kandavar Yavarum Ille. That means nobody can claim that I have arrived, I am a Mr. Perfect. Nothing doing. And here everybody in the process of journey, right? In the hands of Lord. Even Prabhupada sings, I am the puppet in your hand, Krishna, like that. That should be the mood for forgiving ourselves. Person can cleanse their heart and make progress on the spiritual path. So without that, after this, forgiving ourselves, then we can get into this path of spirituality. And then praying for the welfare of others. This, when then we are moving to the next level, welfare of others, by mistake, because they are in a very fallen state, and they are doing that mistake. We look at, everybody, those who are in the jail. If we hear, the story of everybody in the jail, we feel so compassionate, very unfortunate, the husband, cutting a wife into pieces, and husband, cuts the head of a wife and going to the police station, and, all these things we are seeing in this world. And praying for the welfare of others. Why I am in that state? Why they are in that state? That is the mood of, Prabhupada. Yeah, I am not, qualified to speak on all these things, but here it is mentioned. In this way, a devotee demonstrates mercy and compassion, striving to see others in the light of divine love, much like Lord Krishna sees all living beings. That vision we don't have. That means, we say, according to Bhagavad Gita, Pandita, Samadarshana Pandita. So do we have that vision? It's a big question mark. Because we see everyone as a body, and that itself anartha. We should look at each and every body as a soul. Where is that realization? Big question mark. Forgiveness next. Forgiveness in the context of devotional service. Yes. Devotees sometimes make offenses to the Lord or to fellow devotees, either knowingly or unknowingly. In this case, forgiveness from both the Lord and fellow devotees is essential. So by mistake I have done. We do know by mistake, even in material perception, when our leg touches some elderly or even, some younger people immediately, or any opulent thing like books, we have seen, immediately they seek for the forgiveness. They put, they touch that material and then they put it on their hand, please forgive. If our leg, touches somebody's, body or some other, person or a devotee in a temple by mistake, we see, immediately they seek for the pardon, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, like that, knowingly or unknowingly. And then practicing forgiveness in daily life. How come this daily life? Because the demonic person does not forgive, and we, the devotees, should have that nature. So how to develop this? Prabhupada emphasized that practicing forgiveness on a daily basis is an important part of the devotee's internal purification. Yes, we should have that mood, no revenge, no anger, with someone. So in that mood. And finally, in the forgiveness, the transformative power. We will get a transformative power. It is a key aspect of spiritual discipline. Which one? Forgiveness. And it removes, that bitterness, and it gives us inner peace. Don't carry always, that forget. People say whatever the office matter, when you get into the home, you leave that at the entrance of the house like that. So, like devotees also, whenever if there is any difference of opinion, it's okay. Everything, in the hand of Prabhupada, everything in the hand of, Krishna. I'm only an instrument. Something goes well, it's okay. Something is not going well, don't take it too personal. Okay. And we should not be a Sagaja also, right? So that one should understand, this thin line, whether to take a sword to cut the butter or whether to take a small thread to cut the butter. The smartness will be there within the devotees. The last point is humility. Third point is humility. So as we discussed earlier, this forgiveness is the some portion of humility, or some portion of self-control, etc., love, etc. Now, this humility, one devotee has, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, how do we develop a state of mind? Repeating, how do we develop a state of mind where we don't see obstacles in spiritual life as obstacles anymore? How do we develop a state of mind where we don't see obstacles in spiritual life as obstacles anymore? So, question by Ramakanni Mathuresha Das in while reading in UK in 2022 10:5. So Guru Maharaj is replying, you just expect to have different obstacles. Nobody wants obstacle. But here Guru Maharaj says, you just expect to have different obstacle. If it was too easy, that wouldn't be glorious. If the obstacle is very small, it is not a big glorious. So we expect there will be a test and challenges. There will be a test and challenges. If we see that, we will be determined to go ahead. We see that in that mood, how Guru Maharaj is bringing out. So because you cannot expect, either material or spiritual path, I want to be always, smooth. Yes, Lord will bring out, that, but not easily. It's not that easy. Initially, it is bitter. Initially, the self-control is very, very bitter initially. But at the end, it is very, very nectar. But material things, it looks very, very nectar in the beginning, but at the end, it is bitter. So Guru Maharaj's point of view, don't expect, everything, hanky-dory like that. So here it is mentioned that expect to have different obstacles. Then we can learn, then we can go ahead, right? By facing the challenges. So Lord will give always, little challenges for the devotees to understand. Even for Prabhupada, there are so many challenges. Even for my Guru Maharaj, there are so many challenges. Each and everybody in this parampara, starting from, entry-level devotee to most realized devotee facing, these obstacles. What Prabhupada brings out, from this humility is unwavering surrender to Krishna. He gives first condition. Unconditional. No, you give me this position, you give me this many disciples, you give me that, this. I run, this many Bhakti Vriksha, I run this much, I run one separate temple president, I am a GBC member. It's applicable for everyone. So that is a point here. And then serving others with compassion. So this is the very important take-home message. We are serving others, but with compassion. That means Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam personally worked, to build the temples and tirelessly and translate sacred text, establish the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I am simply an instrument in the hands of my spiritual master. What is the mode of Prabhupada? I am simply an instrument in the hands of my spiritual master. That is the serving others with the compassion. And then rejecting material recognition. So what is this? This is very thin line. How to understand this, rejecting the material recognition is being highly respected and admired by millions. I want so many followers. I am the doer, I am the doer. No, I am humble servant of the Guru. I am a puppet in the hands of Krishna. That was not interested in personal glory or prestige. But if anybody says, Dandavad Pranam, our mood should be transferring to our authorities or transferring to Prabhupada. This was a determination of his deep humility. Then teaching through example, achar prachar. Not that, telling everybody, to chant. Let us chant first. Then let us instruct, to others. Humility in the face of challenges. Yes, when challenges comes, that time we will come to know what to do and how to do. At the age of 70, many people told, oh, world man, don't go, to abroad, especially America. There is climate, very chill, you may die. But humility to face the challenges. Right? Here, Dhruv Maharaj, he is a 5 years old boy. But he took that austerities very seriously. The similarity between Dhruv Maharaj and Prabhupada, what we are seeing is, at the age of 70, he has got the determination, and at the age of 5, Dhruv Maharaj. But determination is important here, right? That out of the challenges, the face of challenges. Gratitude for the support of his disciples. Prabhupada is a perfect example how to care, devotee care, how for his disciples, to upbringing, day and night, thinking, that seva, this seva, protection, disturbance in the family, if husband is a devotee, wife is not a devotee, wife is a devotee, husband is not a devotee. Every, ISKCON leaders and, leader servants I'm talking. And accepting mistakes and learning. Yes, that humility. If there is a mistake, we should have a humbleness, to accept it first of all. No, whatever I do, it is correct. No, not like that. If it is not there in the scripture, if it is a guidance from the Agama, if it is there from, whatever the Parampara system, you have to accept this. No more inquiry. And simple living. Prabhupada is a perfect example. Simple living and high thinking. Right? So don't be, get into materialistic way of life. Have a soul-centered or God-centered life. That is called simple living. God-centered life is a simple living. Because I am only an instrument. I am only a dasanu. And then self-identification as a servant. Yes, we will be, Ramanujacharya says, Prabhupada says, our Parampara says, but always we are thinking we are the basanu boss. Easy trick is, I am a servant of the servant of the servant. When Lord will come and stand next to that person. His personal prayer. Prabhupada's personal prayer is famous, expressions of humility is reflected in his daily prayer. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he would pray, I am a fool. I am not know how to serve Krishna properly. Please bless me so that I can serve Krishna in the best way possible. Whenever we stand in front of the altar, when we serve in the altar, always we seek for the pardon. And I am very insignificant. On behalf of Guru, I am trying to do this. I got this mercy through Guru's, compassion and mercy. And then automatically, this is a great, quality one could accommodate to get into Bhakti Yoga and to get into Krishna consciousness around the world. So Prabhupada had given this. Spiritual greatness lies in being humble and dedicated to the service of Krishna. So here Dhruv Maharaj also perfect example to give this topic to us. So without Dhruv Maharaj pastimes, we would have not discussed today about self-control, forgiveness, and humility. Dhruv Maharaj is the perfect, and yakshas are innocent. One yaksha committed a mistake. So what is the reason for killing this entire yaksha? There is one bad quality from other devotee, if at all we find. Why to hate this remaining 90? Even one more pastime I would like to share from my Guru Maharaj. He had come to Bangalore, Pandal program. So there were so many administrative difficulties going and dealing with Guru Maharaj. Every temple. Then Guru Maharaj first statement he made. I was in the last I could not hear properly. Then in the crowd, I went front, and he was giving the message on that day. You can find 90% negativity from someone. There will be a 10%, devotional quality or a good quality you will find from that person. You strongly catch hold of that 10%, glorify our relationship. We will get into these three qualities: for forgiveness and self-control and then humility. If you have these three, this is the direction Guru Maharaj gives. So let us all try to take these examples and try to follow these three qualities to progress in the Bhakti Yoga process. So here I will stop my elaboration on these slokas 4.10.15 to 20 Srimad Bhagavatam. So Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. If there are any questions and sharings, welcome. Otherwise, we can stop here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So thanks for joining all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.